This is Hovey Smith, the Backyard Sportsman. I'm mostly known as an outdoor author, and I am now writing on my first novel, screenplay, and hope to be movie one day. Now, people mostly know me for my outdoor books, like Backyard Deer Hunting, and Extreme Muzzleloading. But I also do other things. I have a business book, Create Your Own Job Security, Plan to Start Your Own Business at Midlife, which advocates that anyone, anytime, any place, at any age, actually start their own businesses when they need a little money, like maybe right now for many of us. And I show you exactly how to choose what that business should be. Now, about my new venture here. The book is Father of the Grooms. It's written and is published unusually as a first draft edition, which you may buy off Amazon any day for all of $4.99. And this is a first draft book, and it is full of errors of all sorts. So if you want to see what a novelist's first draft looks like, okay, you can buy it and look at it. Well, it shows the plot of the story, and that's what I was after doing. Having the first draft done, I had actually pre-plotted the bones of what could become a screenplay. Well, the thing about the draft novel, it is 400 pages. Brr. The screenplay can't be longer than 120 odd. So a lot has to go to get it down to that. And this is a screenplay right here. This happens to be version 2. We're now on version 4, including a new title. Well, it's one thing for an author to write a book and an author to write a screenplay, but how is it going to be received in the marketplace, and how does an author find out? Well, as it turns out, there are many, many film festivals in the world. And some of these festivals and some associated organizations have actually screenplay contests. So you don't have to produce a movie to put it in a festival. The festival at Austin, Texas is purely about screenplays, but most of them mix the two. And there are some organizations that will look at the first 10 pages of your script and give you a detailed evaluation of those pages. Now, it's going to cost you a little money to do this. They have various rates. In the Wiki Screenwriting Contest, for example, WIKI, they start off at $26, and then you pay $56 for a more thorough evaluation. So, having a screenplay written right here, full of hopes, I of course mailed it off, to Wiki to see what they had to say. Well, frankly, they didn't like it much. But they did give me a lot of good directed information on how they thought it ought to be improved. Okay? So I took their advice. I rewrote the screenplay. I, in fact, took out some characters and I introduced some characters. I introduced some situations and changed things up a bit and sent it off again. Again, full of hopes and aspirations. They didn't like that one either. But, again, some more useful information. All right, third time's a charm, maybe. Well, rewrote it, blah, 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 blah. Got it back again. Some improvements were noted, and we're going to talk about those in some detail. But in generally, the script was graded as somewhat below average. It's making progress, but it's not where it needs to be yet. As it turns out, films these days to be made have to really be spectacularly different for a new author to introduce something in the marketplace to replace another iteration of something the film studio has already done. For example, if you're a parent or if you're a grandparent, you've probably been drugged to one of the Transformer movies. Not something you probably would have chosen to see yourself, but yeah, you got drugged along. Well, these movies have undergone considerable development and changed. They started off, the first Transformer movie started off as something of a comedy. Yes, there were exciting elements in it, but it was a comedy. How this guy accidentally became involved with something way beyond his scope, and nonetheless somehow managed to come through. It shows how the family got drugged along, too, accidentally, unwillingly, but did. And all of this made for some comedic elements in that movie. And the second one, when he goes to college, yes, that comedy theme also carried through. However, on subsequent ones, less and less comedy was seen, till finally in the most recent version, it is a straight action adventure movie. It's a visual spectacle. It's eye candy. Lots of fights, lots of stuff being torn apart, blown up, blah, 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 blah. But the more sophisticated comedy section of it has been completely lost and thrown away. And that's what the market is asking for these days. From what I got from these three criticisms, they want something strictly categorized. They want comedy, drama, or action. You know, something's got to happen. Preferably drama and action go together. Sometimes comedy and action goes together, but not comedy, drama, and action. Not the three mixed. So, on the second submittal, I was sort of given a clear choice. Either make this thing a comedy or make it a drama. Well, I chose on the third submittal to make it a drama. And in fact, even changed the name of it on the third try around. And we now call it Death Do You Part. From the common line in the marriage ceremonies, until death do you part, but I dropped the first word because I suspect that title has already been used. And so, Death Do You Part sets the tone of a more serious movie. Now, I went through and checked through my script and say, okay, where did I have lines that might be considered comedic, and who said them, and what do I do about them? Well, that's what this graph is. It's where I plot where the comedy points were and the responses. Well, I found out that one of my main characters had most of the comedy lines, but they weren't really continued through the whole script that would make a comedy out of the movie. They were more natural and accidental occurrences, which I personally think is fine, but the evaluators didn't like it at all. They wanted drama, drama, drama. None of this comedy business. Okay, so how do we do through these three evaluations? we had what they call concepts. And they were looking here for originals. Well, on a score of 1 to 10, an original movie would be something like the first Transformers. Okay? That was an original movie. An original concept, new characters, new situations. It's not unusual for the world being in danger from something as a concept, but these particular configuration and grouping of characters were. And especially having the family involved in the whole business. A well-written, fairly complex plot. Good film, so far as the production goes. So my first submittal, I got us a resounding 2. On the later 2, I got 5s. And which is, they say, average. Not really original, but maybe producible. The fictional concept reads 1 beat or so away from The Godfather, with the fish out of water functioning as a swing factor that takes this particular story into original territory. Well, on submittal 2, the reviewer said that he had not ever seen a script with quite this plot. So, in that sense, yes, it's approaching originality, but it's obviously something of a derivative from the Godfather kinds of movies, which I admit that indeed it is. So I doubt if this category will ever reach above a 5 in that regard. Now, talking about the plot. The plot, as they saw it from the first 10 pages, didn't move very well. We got 3s all the way through. 3, 3, 3. So my 2 rewrites did not improve the plot to any appreciable degree. Although the general story is sound. What they didn't like about the plotting was the way the story moved. In short, the reviewer number 3 suggested that I take what was actually scene 2, a rather gruesome torture scene, move it to scene 1, and put scene 1, which is a much more subdued family dinner table setting, to scene 2. Just swap 2 scenes around. Well, that's a purely mechanical thing, and that's easy to do, and I certainly will do that. Then they talked about structure, which speaks somewhat to the same issue. The writer number 3 also wanted me to switch these scenes around and said that would make the structure more obvious. And that what in particular I needed to do was to consistently build towards some sort of climax through the 3 acts. As he saw it, they were somewhat jumpy. I would have a tension-filled scene, I would have a relaxed scene, and so on and so on and so on. But to give something that drives the whole story on an increasing wave of tension till you reach the climax, then boof, down the other side, and the resolution. Okay? Pacing, much the same thing. Characters. Here I have some real problems. I'm not Sicilian, nor am I Italian. And consequently, I write like a white Southerner, which I am. And the language did not fit the Godfather mold of what mobsters are supposed to sound like. So, consequently, I'm going to need, in effect, to have someone take my lines and rewrite them in Italian mobster speak, in English. Now, there are writers who probably specialize in this sort of stuff, so I've got to make contact with one and get these passages cleaned up. So Italian mobster doesn't sound exactly like my American father. So that's somewhere I need some help, and I'm going to seek it. The dialogue. This speaks much to the same. There were parts of the dialogue that the fellows liked, and there were parts of it that he did not like. Conflict. Well, that improved, and that improved from 3 to 5, because I put an antagonist into that first 10 pages, which I did not have before. 2 completely new characters that are not even in the novel. You can do that? Yeah, you can. So we have these 2 characters. They were actually in the novel, but they were never named, they were never mentioned, but they showed up and they had a function in the last act. But now we made them real. We have given them some character, and they are going to act throughout the screenplay to add more and more tension as things progress. So they're going to help out there. Emotional response. No change here. 3 and 3. Pretty poor. The readers could not get into the plot. They read through it okay, but it was not something they felt like they were driven to do to find out what the exciting end was. Marketplace potential. 3 of 3. Below average as they saw it at the moment. However, they did give me some encouragement here, saying that I was in fact headed in the right direction. Death Do You Part is heading in the right direction for theatrical development. The writer has certainly thought about the overall arc of the story, judging by the strength of the introductory 10 pages. There's clear conflict present, cushioned with interpersonal character backstory that lays out the protagonist's ensemble's initial interests and motives. In terms of improvement, however, the writer should first start with the tone and tinker with early story elements to present a more visible and compelling one between a romantic comedy and a romantic drama. The reader tends toward the former in thinking about what would be the most commercial. Another area to focus on is scene organization and scaling, which could result in a stronger solicitation for emotional investment. So, something that drives all the way through that a reader can hook onto and like. His final conclusion. There's a lot of promise for the idea, so the writer should be proud of the submitted draft in the first 10 pages. Okay. So the idea has promise, needs to be redone. That is a very common result from these sorts of contests. Matter of fact, by far the most common. And the words like that are probably pretty much boilerplated in all of these evaluations. If they want to see more scripts, they want to see better scripts, and they want to get paid for seeing them. Well, frankly, producing a report like this for $50, as thorough as this is something of a bargain. I could not write, as a commercial writer, I couldn't write a report like this for $50. It takes too much work, too long, has to be too precise, too nitpicky. Couldn't do it. No, I'd have to charge $150 for that. And they do it for $50. Well, thereabouts. So, what do we do? Well, again, we restructure that first 10 pages. We get that solid. We see if we can find someone to actually supply the Italianesque dialogue that I need. And we rewrite the screenplay again, deciding once and for all, maybe, whether it be comedy or drama or some combination thereof, and see if we can make it work better. Well, Bon Richard is not doing much better either. Saw deer yesterday, by the way. Yeah. But nothing he could shoot. Saw him walking into the deer stand. So he has yet to get his deer. And I have yet to produce what I consider an acceptable screenplay according to these evaluations. So what we've got to do is, one, find someone to write the mops of dialogue, as well as take care of these mechanical things and other details of the script. Well, a lot of work. But now this is Hovey Smith, reminding you to hunt what you eat and eat what you hunt. Be legal, be ethical, be safe. Goodbye, God bless, see you next time, and see you in the movies. The French Model 1777 69 caliber flintlock musket, the Colt 1911 45 ACP pistol, and the wavy bladed dagger all play a part in the movie. I have videos about building the musket, making the knife, and shooting the pistol. For more information about my books, blogs, and more than 850 videos, go to www.hoveysmith.com. To find out more about my book, screenplay, and movie project, go to fatherofthegrooms.net. To discover how you can start your own businesses anytime, any place, at any age, go to createyourownjobsecurity.com. Good hunting and good eating from the outdoors. Goodbye and God bless. See you in the movies.